Hi guys! So it's technically just been the end of week 4 of Nanowrimo, and I have some news. I won it for the first year ever. Last night, basically I'll start with this week. This week has been kind of crazy. I've been working a lot. I work 40 hours a week now anyway, which is really, really good. But it means I kind of by the time I start writing in the evenings, it's 8 o'clock. And I try and finish for 12ish every night, because obviously, sleep, because I have to get up fairly early in the morning sometimes when I'm starting at 9 or 10 or whatever, so it's a lot this week, a lot of times this week I've just been way too tired. It's all been kind of piling up with the amount of workouts you have to try and stick to every day, and I've been doing it, I've managed it, nearly every day, but there's been a couple of days this last week, where I've just not been motivated enough, and I've been too tired. I'll literally be sitting there, at my laptop in the evening, wanting to write, and I'll start falling asleep, which is obviously never good. So, it's a bit dark in this room at the minute, but, yeah, so, it just kind of got to the point where I was just way too tired, and I just didn't have the motivation or the kind of mental strength that I had to keep going with it on those days. So I'd kind of leave it for the next day and then try and catch up the next day, and then the next day I'd have a lot more words and I'd be the same thing, I'd be way too tired. So I got to about the other night, I ended up writing, I think the night before, a few nights ago, I ended up writing about 3,000 words, which was really good, I was happy with. The day after that, I was supposed to write about 4,000, because I knew I had about 9,000 left, so I was like, I'm going to try and split it over these couple of days. So I thought that next day I'll try and write 4,000 if I can, and then the other day I'll try and write 4,000. I ended up writing about 2,000 something because I was just so tired, but I was glad I managed to get that far. And then yesterday, last night, was the very, very last night. I was absolutely knackered at work. I was a little bit tired, a bit quiet, but I knew I wanted to finish it as soon as I got home, and I knew that I had a lot to write, and that was kind of dawning on me a little bit, because I knew I had about 5,000 words left to write to finish Nanowrimo in time, and I only had about 4 hours to do it by the time I get back, so I was really, really hungry on the way home, so I ended up going to getting Chinese, eating my food as soon as I got back, so it was about 10 past 8 by the time I started writing, and I wrote from that time till about 12 non-stop, and I kept thinking the whole time as I was doing it that I was not going to manage it, because 5,000 words is quite a lot to manage in 4 hours, and obviously as you get to 11 or half 11, you're your brain's going, no, I can't do this, I'm gonna lose, I'm not gonna get there in time, I don't have enough time. I know the story, I've got my story outlined, but I know what I want to write, but it's not even about that, it's just getting it down into words and making it flow as well as you can, and making the words not come out like complete nonsense. And I have to say, I don't think it's my best writing ever, but I'm pretty proud of what I got, and that's exactly what a first draft is for, isn't it? So as soon as I finished the first draft of the first novel, and during Nanowrimo, which I'm also really, really proud of, that's a big milestone for this year as well, and I recently started, it's kind of like a little follow-up novel, which is what I've been writing, and haven't got all of it outlined yet, but I've got the first part outlined, and I will continue with that. So yeah, I won it. I managed to write about 5,986 words or something like that last night. No idea how I did it. I was absolutely knackered. I was falling asleep as I was writing it. I did write quite a good scene, which I was quite happy with. It's sort of young adult fantasy, so it's a bit of a tricky one, but the characters are quite can be quite complex, and especially the new characters I brought in. So they're a lot of fun to write. There's the daughter of Hades, her evil twin brother has just kind of come back from the dead, or not the dead because they're undead, but you know what I mean. Basically, he was the kind of, I don't know how to explain it. The character that turned into this big evil creature that like destroyed lots of different gods in my first book, and in my other half the prequel book. His soul was drained down so much and destroyed by Hades because he wasn't powerful enough to Hades to be a king, that he kind of ended up becoming this powerful, very creepy, scaled looking god like called Yuri, and Yuri ended up destroying all these different characters and creating a lot of problems in my book and in my other half's book, which he's currently writing as well. So in my first book, and then in the second one, this character who he was before he turned into this Yuri, he's kind of coming back as like a reborn version of himself, and there's going to be another one there as well who's quite very much alike him. And like last night, I was writing those characters, and it was really, really fun. And yeah, I can't wait to continue with this book that I'm now writing, but I also want to give myself a little bit of a break over the next couple of weeks so I can get some reading done, because I haven't really been reading during Nanowrimo, because it's just, you want to get your work out now, don't you? But I've got a book here called Northchild by Edith Patu, or Patel, I can never pronounce it right. Which is one of my childhood favourites, but I haven't read it in so many years, and I just remember loving it. But so I'm going to read that again. And I've got, if you saw my room, you probably scream. There's so many books, and they're just kind of like overtaking everything that I have in my bedroom. So over the next couple of months, hopefully I'll get my own little place, and yeah, be able to fill out everything, all my bookshelves and everything into that place. But until then, my books will just have to keep taking everything over, and yeah. So yeah, I'm so happy with how I've managed to win this. I've failed this for the last 2 years straight, and I finally won it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy because I put in so much effort this year because I knew I wanted to win it this year. And I finally did it, so I'm really, really happy. Let me know how your books have gone, because I'd love to hear about other people's like books from Nanowrimo, or just in general. And maybe let me know how you get on with like the publishing process as well, because that's a lot, like other people's experiences with it is also another thing I'd love to hear. So yeah, drop me a comment down below, and I'll talk to you later.